Alright people, listen! Today we're going to be talking about Poughkeepsie off the soundboard. We're going to be giving our thoughts and our review on the 49th episode of Kiss Army Things. My name is Xander.
My name is Daphne.
I didn't give her any warning about that, by the way.
No,
there was no Paul Stanley warning. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to do it.
I rolled with it. It's
fine.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for joining us on episode 49. We're going to be talking about the latest Off the Soundboard, which is from Poughkeepsie, New York, on the Animalized tour. The first and only Off the Soundboard to feature Mark St. John, and then the first official Off the Soundboard to feature Eric Carr as well. So this was very much a KISStorical release. We're going to be talking all about that. But I just want to say thank you to everybody for always joining us and talking about Kiss. Thank you so much. And you can always follow us on Instagram if you want, like and subscribe to the channel. We're just two Kiss fans sitting in the Kiss room, drinking Gene Simmons Moneybag Soda.
Always.
Talking about Kiss. I may actually have to go to Rocket Fizz to get more because...
I think this is our last two, so it's time for a trip.
We're down to the bottom of the barrel, so I'll be making a trip back up to Rocket Fizz to get some more Moneybag Soda. But anyway, so let's go ahead and start talking about Off the Soundboard, because usually we start off with a Kiss Spotlight.
Right.
Which is, we talk about what album we've been listening to the most or most recently, or what video we've been listening to or watching, most recently or the most often. But when it comes to these soundboard reviews, it always ends up being the soundboard.
Yeah, because that's what we've been listening to. Yeah.
Which in this case is Poughkeepsie, New York. So this is going to be our Kiss Spotlight. And I thought instead of talking about the album, we could actually do our unboxing.
That's true. We have not
opening.
We have not opened the actual vinyl record yet, so I'm excited about that.
Yes, the KISSOnline exclusive vinyl is here. It did arrive not on the day of release, but I didn't expect it to. However, Close enough. However, this is, I think, only the second time that we've actually had the record for our review episode.
Usually it's so late that it's not even here by the time we film, even if we film late. So
yeah, usually it ends up being one of the things I open in the episode,
right,
as opposed to, something that we are, it's just part of the review. But no, so today we actually do have the vinyl with us. I'm going to keep the shrink wrap on for now. I'll deal with any of that stuff off camera. But what I want to do is just give us both here a record to kind of look at. I've been hesitant on continuing on buying the KISSOnline exclusive vinyl, but so far I have kept with it. These are a little hard to get out.
They are, yes.
I've noticed.
I'm excited to see this color. We've got like a yellow this time.
Yes, and we've got sleeves inside of sleeves, which I guess in the grand scheme of things is pretty nice. Just offer extra protection. But yeah, they are very much stuck in there. So this is actually more of an orange.
No, it's yellow, but it's very pastel.
Okay.
Like, it's a lot lighter than I thought it would be.
I was hoping it would be, honestly. I was hoping for a softer, creamier yellow.
It's very creamy.
Because I kept hearing people saying, this is like a mustard yellow. And I was like,
I don't
think it's going to be that bright in that, that yellow.
No, it's really not.
It's more of like
It's a very soft, like almost like Eastery kind of pastel
I think
color.
of sherbet.
I do as well, yes.
So
it's a pretty color, though. I actually do like that.
It is, and I like the label. You got some texture on the label there.
Yeah, some like animalized, are those
you're
claw
right.
marks? That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's like animalized, the print from the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Nice little attention to detail there.
That is a nice touch. I like that.
But okay, so there you go. So there's the standard black, and then there is the KOL exclusive, and I think the price even was a little bit reduced on this one from the last KOL release. So that was one of the reasons why I ended up going ahead and getting it.
Yeah.
You want me to...
Maybe. Oh, no, we got it. Okay. Try not to touch it too much. Yeah, that's awesome. I do like that they added that little touch on the labels there.
Me too. So, yeah, there you go. There is the records there. We also have the CD with us. Went and picked this up at a local store. I've been doing that instead of buying them from KOL.
It's a lot faster that way.
It is.
And we love to support local businesses, so I always recommend, if you have the option to do that instead of purchasing online, 100% do that.
And I noticed that on you can see right there, it actually has the animalized cover kind of embedded in it too, which is nice. Obviously, Kiss fans have been complaining about the minimal design and the lackluster look of these Off the Soundboards, but it's nice to see Tom, the designer behind all these, kind of still taking some creative liberties.
Yeah, and just a little bit of customization, like, specific to that album. I like that.
Yeah, me too. I think the Donington Off the Soundboard had the British flag in the background.
Oh, you're right.
As opposed to the Animalized, which was cool.
Yeah,
again,
you're right. I forgot about that.
Another little fun thing there. And on the inside, I kind of forgot that these open up into like a little mini gatefold.
Yeah.
For a while, I just kept mine in the package, in the plastic. But no, I took this one out and noticed that, it opens up to some, you have, of course, the band and executive producers and all that. And then the track listing with the songwriters. And I noticed that they misspelled Bryan Adams.
Really?
On War Machine, at least according to what I've always known, which is Y-A-N. But nonetheless, whatever. It does mention, obviously, that both Young and Wasted and Rock and Roll All Night are incomplete due to the tape being flipped over, the tape running out. We have a producer's note also on the back.
I actually did not read this.
This says, the historical importance of this show, our only known soundboard recording to date with Mark St. John, influenced us to release this show. Even though Young and Wasted and Rock and Roll All Night are incomplete recordings, your passion for our music helps us find these gems to release. We hope you all rock out to this as hard as we have.
I like that.
So that was pretty cool. So
That's cool.
It's saying, yes, even though there are some tape dropouts and some incomplete sections, that it's still... It's more about the historical importance.
Yeah, and that's
more than anything.
That's a really good kind of explanation and justification to me as to why they chose this specific show. Because if it weren't for the Mark St. John thing, I would say, why didn't you pick one from at least a few nights earlier? Because some of the research we did showed that this is their 6th show in a row, like 6th day in a row.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there's another one the day after that they did.
Yeah.
So, there might be some complaints from some fans about the condition of Paul's voice in certain spots. And to me, it's literally just because his voice has not had a break in a week. But with this being the only Mark St. John, or the first Mark St. John show, I definitely understand why they chose that and the value that has to KISStory. So that's pretty cool. And
I'm glad they did, because as soon as they announced that, it was like, that makes you excited.
Yeah.
Like that perks your ears up. Huh? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Mark St. John.
Yeah, that's special.
He's only on Animalize. We never actually got to hear him on any live stuff before. You can find some, there's a couple rough audience recordings of the other shows that Mark was with, but apparently there is no other soundboard recording. You want to put that on our little display there, which I don't understand why there isn't another release of Mark St. John, because in my mind, KISS records everything.
Right, that is odd.
They record every single show.
Yeah.
Maybe for some reason they just decided not to record Baltimore the night before or Binghamton the night after. I'm not sure, but that doesn't make any sense.
Or maybe they have some, but they're even more incomplete. You know what I mean?
It just seems weird.
Maybe just this is the best one.
But it's hard to complain because, again, we're getting a historical show.
Yeah, very cool.
In the utmost sense.
Yeah.
So before we dive too much into the songs and our actual review of the music, I wanted to provide a little bit of KISStory, a little bit of backstory for fans who, like myself, who have a bird's eye view of KISS, but when it comes to some of these dates and some of these more particular sections of KISStory, I don't really know all the facts.
We weren't there.
And for one, we weren't there, and also with 50 years of KISStory, it's kind of hard to, you can't know everything.
No, it's hard to keep track of everything.
Just to kind of give everybody a little bit of a backstory and to kind of put us all in the Animalized mindset and to give us a little bit of what was going on around that year. So Vinnie Vincent, of course, was still in the band after Lick It Up. When Lick It Up was released, he played on that tour, and that tour ended March 17th, 1984 in Evansville, Indiana. And so that was Vinny's last show.
Okay.
Vinny's last show with the band was the last show of the Lick It Up tour. The next show KISS played was October 1st in England with Bruce. Oh. So fast forward from March all the way to October, no KISS shows. Presumably they were recording. They were going through the auditions and trying to figure out, who's going to be the next guitar player in KISS.
Right.
And they landed on Mark, but of course Mark had some issues with his hand. Also, they weren't really sure if he was the right guy or not. So Bruce was with the band from October 1st all the way until some of these shows with Mark, November 27th, 28th. So there's about 30 shows with Bruce, roughly, and 38 shows with Bruce before Mark takes over for his 2.5. Mark would join the night before this one on the 27th for only half the show.
Right.
Bruce would come out for the first half, and then before Under the Gun, Bruce would exit stage, and then Paul actually introduced Mark and said, hey, look, our guitar player's been out, he's been sick, he was really messed up, but now he's here to play for you. Give it up, Mark St. John. And so from Under the Gun on, Mark St. John performs the rest of the show. He plays all of Poughkeepsie on the 28th, and then plays all of Binghamton, New York on the 29th. However, after that, Kiss decides, hey, we're going to go with Bruce. We're going to continue on with him. And so Bruce became an official member on December 2nd, 1984, when Kiss played here in Indianapolis.
Oh, wow.
Market Square Arena.
Always comes back to Indiana.
I was going to say, Indiana is just somewhere, or always, like, not the center of the Kiss universe.
No,
but
it's New York and then Indiana in my mind.
It's New York and it's Indiana, because Indiana...
Just because of the Kiss Army. It's
the Kiss
so
Army,
strong here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they've been playing in Indiana since 1974.
Yeah.
And they'll be playing here until the 5th to last show.
Absolutely.
On the End of the Road tour. So Indiana, very important. But anyway, so not the best speaker, but that's how KISStory went. Mark was in the band for 2.5 shows. Bruce was there before, and then will ultimately be there after.
Mm-hmm.
So, like we said, this is the first full show with Mark St. John. So let's go ahead and talk about it. We had 3 singles to kind of whet our palates and get us kind of excited for it. So, do you want to start talking about your review, or should I start? It doesn't really matter to me. I feel like I've done a lot of talking, but
I can give mine if you like, because
you're the residential 80s fan around here.
Well, I am an 80s fan, but I also feel like you might have more to say, so so we'll get mine out of the way.
All right.
Overall, I really enjoyed it. I am a big 80s Kiss fan. I love the energy. I love the hype. So I really enjoyed it. There were some songs that were better than others, obviously. Like we mentioned before, this is their 6th show in a row. I know some people have made comments about Paul's voice on this. For the most part, I think he did a really good job. I think there are just some screams and some high notes where you can tell his voice is strained. You can tell his vocal cords are hurting, and he really should not be doing what he's doing. So it's less to me that his voice is bad and more that it's incredibly strained.
It's tired.
It's very tired, yes. But I think he handles it well for the most part. Cold Gin was one of my favorites on here. I don't know why. It's just this particular version.
I liked it too.
Was really good. As we know, during this time, everything is sped up by a lot. Eric Carr plays really, really fast.
Eric Carr plays so fast.
That's what they're doing in the 80s. Eric Carr was immaculate, like perfect, so good. But the fast speed does work better on some songs than others. Cold Gin, I thought it worked really well on. War Machine, which was one of the singles, was really, really good. That's another one of my favorites. And then my other favorite was I Still Love You. I love that song. I don't care what anybody says. I still love you haters out there. I love that song. Give me a Paul Stanley emotional, dramatic power ballad any day of the week. It's my favorite. And I thought he did a great job. I thought his voice sounded really good on that song. Like I said, despite it being a little tired and wore out from so many shows in a row, I thought he sounded great. I think he handled it really well. I loved it. I thought it was a great version. I thought Susanna was super fun and super random. I still don't understand why they did it.
Susanna.
No, it's super random. And it'd be one thing to me if they were like maybe playing in a really southern state or something, because it's a very like southern old folk song type of thing. But they're in New York, so I don't really know what prompted them
I wonder what the
to
crowd...
do this. There has to be a story behind it that like made them want to do a random old folk song.
Maybe somebody out there who maybe saw the tour or knows more than us can let us know, because it wasn't just one night.
They did it multiple times?
The whole tour.
It's so strange. But it was fun. It was just a silly little moment.
It is a silly little moment.
But it made me smile, so I was fine with it.
I just wonder what else they could have put in there instead. Like, what other Kiss song could they have played instead of Oh Susanna? But, I mean, 80s Kiss, they were having the most fun.
Exactly,
They were having all kinds of fun on stage.
Young and Wasted, what we did get to hear of it was really, really cool, and I'm really sad that one got cut off. Although there's more than I thought there would be. We got further into the song than I thought when they mentioned ahead of time that it would be cut off due to the tape ending or whatever.
Yeah.
But what we did get was cool. I love to hear Eric sing. I think he's got a great voice. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Maybe not my number one favorite off the soundboard just yet, but definitely up there. I really liked it.
My first impression was when I first popped it in, and because we bought it, and then we got in the car and just turned it on and kind of listened to it on the way home. My first impression was that Eric Carr's drums sounded great.
Oh yeah, that's the best part.
I was going into this kind of thinking, you know what, with these off the soundboards, the mix isn't there isn't the most bass, the most dynamic.
Right, it doesn't
range.
always sound great.
Eric's drums are going to sound really thin. I wasn't really looking for anything, bombastic, and I don't know if they went in and fixed it or if that's just how it was on the soundboard. But Eric Carr's drums were every bit as thunderous as I would have wanted them to be.
So good.
It was incredible. That was my favorite part.
Yeah, and one thing I didn't mention is Mark St. John sounded great.
Okay.
I mean, did he not? Okay.
I thought that there were some issues, but we can chalk that up to not being rehearsed very well.
For sure. Well, I mean, I just remember there was a few solos that, we...
Cole Jim.
Yeah, maybe Cole Jim is what I'm thinking of specifically, because I remember there being a couple moments in the car where we were like, dang, like,
yeah.
that's actually really good, especially, like you said, for not having rehearsed much and having had all these issues with his hands. It's got to be harder.
And let's face it, probably being nervous.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I mean, Bruce has been taking the lead for 38 shows. He's got the time to rehearse. He's settled in. He's gelled with Gina Paul. All of a sudden, they're throwing you up halfway during one show, and then giving you, a couple on your own. It's like, that's really nerve-wracking, especially when Mark hadn't really been in a band like Kiss before and hasn't really, been in the public eye like that or on stage in front of people like that. It can be, I'm sure, really nerve-wracking. So I think there were a few things that, may have contributed to this not being the most incredible guitar performance, which, again, it's hard to complain when this is mostly about the historical factor.
Right.
I wasn't expecting Mark St. John to just come in and blow Bruce Kulick off the stage.
No, and he definitely didn't.
And prove to us why he was the one that should have been the guitarist the whole time.
Right.
I wasn't looking for that. I just wanted to hear his take on some of these songs and, kind of hear him just get to play.
Right.
He's an often, forgotten member because his tenure was so short with the band and because of his, his hand dilemma.
Right.
He doesn't get a whole lot of love from the fans. So this, to me, is just all about loving, loving Mark St. John and getting to hear also Eric Carr. Who we've been waiting for some live stuff from Eric Carr. We got Creatures, which was great.
Yeah.
But again, the thunderous drums is way more apparent on this off the soundboard.
Yeah.
And even though, Paul at times was trying to, mess with the melody of the lyrics, being in front of the lyric or behind the lyric, I still was just focused on Eric Carr the whole time. Eric Carr,
he was the highlight for sure.
His drum fills, his double bass.
Oh yeah.
His double bass drumming was incredible, and that's what I love as a drummer. I want to hear these guys just go all out. And we all know that Gina Paul have a tendency to kind of put handcuffs and restrictions on these guys. Rein them in
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, guys like, Eric Singer, Eric Carr, Vinnie Vincent, Mark St. John. And I totally understand why. The older I get, the more I understand why Gina and Paul are the way they are and why they have the expectations that they have. Because, my thing with hearing some of these songs, with hearing, again, I wanted to hear Mark St. John's take, but hearing Mark St. John's take, you kind of realize where he's not really fitting any notes in with the actual music. Now, again, that could be attributed to the fact that Eric Carr is playing 100 miles an hour. There is no groove. It's kind of hard to keep that melody. But I just noticed that some of the notes that he was playing wasn't really fitting in with the music. Now again, that could be because he wasn't as rehearsed. Maybe he was trying to be flashy and show off for Gina Paul. Maybe his hands were he was still having some difficulty moving his fingers,
he was
having some pain, discomfort. Who knows? But again, it was just about wanting to hear Mark St. John play. And play he did. He did a great job, I thought.
One more thing real quick that I wanted to mention that I'm sure you were going to get to anyway, but was Gene's bass solo was really cool. That was a highlight for me for sure.
Yes.
Because usually when we get, a little bit of a bass solo, it's, when he's in demon makeup leading up to, like, God of Thunder or something.
It's more theatrical.
And it is more theatrical. I mean, it's cool, but it's just, like, a couple notes here and there, and then he'll do some crowd work and some, dramatic demon stuff. So it's not really about the bass solo. That's just part of it. Whereas this, unmasked and, not in the whole demon getup, it was more of a bass solo. And there was some more spice to it. I really liked it.
He was playing some bass riffs.
Yeah, it was neat.
Which
I
was nice because a lot of people think that, Gene can't play bass.
Yeah.
But clearly he can. And I want to know where this bass riff came from. Is this something that Gene himself made up?
Yeah, because it
didn't
sound familiar.
Because to me, it sounds very much like Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
I don't know, and again, that could just be, whatever, but in my mind, it sounds like a Zeppelin-esque riff.
Okay, I can see that.
That Gene is either playing his favorite Zeppelin riff, just 100 miles an hour, or he just made this riff up, and it just happens to sound like some Zeppelin stuff.
Well, and he could have been inspired by them, at least.
Because Eric Carr even comes in with some drums.
Uh-huh.
And there's like a little Gene-Eric jam, which I love that
awesome.
stuff. That stuff is
awesome.
great. And this one, when Eric comes in with some drums and some hi-hat, it gives me an AC/DC feel.
Okay.
So I'm like, are they just kind of playing some popular rock songs? Because, we've heard Paul play on the Hottest Show on Earth tour, or Sonic Boom Over Europe tour, he played or sang a little bit of A Whole Lot of Love before Black Diamond.
Yeah.
And of course, they play Oh Susanna, so, so who knows what it was. But to me, hearing Gene play his bass solo gave me very much like Led Zeppelin vibes. And then when Eric came in with the drums, it gave me slight, in the beginning at least, AC/DC vibes.
Yeah.
But I could just be reaching. Either way, though, if you have any insight out there, anybody watching has any insight, let us know in the comments, because maybe you saw it live for yourself.
Yeah.
But I totally agree. Hearing the jam was great, because it's one of those, they did play that at every show. Again, it's pretty much the same every show.
Right.
But it just gives you that, sort of impromptu feel, that informal jam, that rock and roll feel.
I enjoyed it.
It's rock and roll.
Yeah, that was really cool.
One other thing, I'm surprised I didn't mention this in the beginning, was I noticed that when the concert started, there was no "you wanted the best, you got the best" intro.
That's true.
Did you notice that?
I didn't, but now that you say that, you're right.
And I thought that was kind of weird, because
that is weird.
I know that they did say "you wanted the best, you got the best," the hottest band in the world, Kiss, on that tour.
Right.
But it wasn't anywhere on this soundboard. And I was thinking, well, maybe it just wasn't recorded on the soundboard, but it's on every other soundboard that we have.
That's true. I wonder why.
Even though on the Tokyo one, they did switch it out with a 2019 version as opposed to the 01 version, it's still there.
Right.
The Des Moines is there, Donington is there, Virginia Beach is there.
That's
but
good
this
catch.
one just goes right into Detroit Rock City.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if there was a reason for that or not, but one of the things that that was the first thing I picked up on was, wait a minute, there is no intro, we're just going right into the show, which,
interesting.
Again, is fine, but it just makes you wonder, was the tape not even started before then, or, who was running the tape on this one? Because I've never heard of, it's funny how on this one, the tape is flipped, and the tape runs out at the end, but yet on every soundboard, that doesn't happen.
Right.
On the other soundboards we have, they're way longer than this. And yet,
I guess they just must have gotten lucky on the other ones, and it was at the end of a song.
It just makes you wonder how this one we're missing almost an entire song.
Yeah,
it's like a glove.
I feel like the person running it didn't think ahead.
Was taking their sweet time.
Well, didn't think ahead to stop it early in between songs. You know what I mean?
And obviously, nobody back then was thinking, "Oh, you know what? We got to be careful because this is going to get released in 40 years.
In 2023, it's going to be important." No, they're not thinking that. It's just the band told them to record every show, so they're doing it.
But oddly enough, we have 2 incomplete tracks, whereas we have 4 other soundboards that are complete. As well, I mean, as far as I know, they're complete.
I thought there was one that got cut short.
They took out Vinny's solo on the Creatures box.
Oh, they just
is that what you're thinking
out?
of?
Maybe, I don't know.
This one they cut out a lot. Well, there was the incomplete. You wanted the Young and Wasted and Rock and Roll Night, but even Paul's Love Gun rap.
Yeah, I feel like there's quite a bit of banter that was cut out because you've been listening to some of the other shows from that week. And we've been listening to some of the stuff Paul says. And yeah, I mean, he changes some stuff up, but for the most part, he says kind of the same thing every night for each song. And I did notice that it was condensed down a little bit. Yeah,
and I mean, I don't know. I don't understand why. Was it just is it just offensive or what? But
I almost think it's just they think it's too long. Like
it's too long.
Like too much talking before we get to the song, which they should know by now that fans don't care, and I love to hear that stuff.
And I guess Paul was doing more stage raps in the 80s.
Yeah, a lot.
But because his Love Gun rap wasn't like that in the 70s.
Right.
But as cheesy and ridiculous as it is, I wish they would have kept it.
Yeah, I love it.
Because it's still part of the
so
show.
Fun.
And it's like, if you're going to cut one thing, then you're going to be inclined to cut something else. Mm-hmm. And the whole point of these releases is that we're not cutting anything.
Right, not changing anything.
We're not editing anything. Fans are complaining about, all this stuff, and it's like, these are just soundboard recordings. These are literally, this is how a KISS show is.
Right,
this is how a real KISS show is.
It was not produced to sound perfect. It's just a live show.
I think fans have gotten a little too used to KISS Alive.
Yes.
And things like Animalized, Live, Uncensored, where they, even Rock the Nation DVD, where they go back in and they fix these things. KISS Rocks Vegas, same way. Mm-hmm. They go in and they balance stuff out and they bring stuff up and they tweak this and they tweak that.
But that's not the point of Off the Soundboard.
But we're getting a full-fledged actual KISS show. And it's funny to me how people in the past were so quick to praise Eric Carr. Eric Carr's the best drummer KISS ever had. He's amazing. He's incredible. And now that we get this release, it's, Eric Carr plays too fast. He has no groove. He's butchering the original classic KISS songs. And it's like, this is how it's always been. Nothing has changed.
Nothing
clearly,
changed.
This is the same KISS as it's or this. It's the same as it's been since '84. It was recorded. That's the way it is. Yeah. So it's funny how people, as time goes on, which this is just natural, how our opinions and our thoughts change.
Definitely.
And this is exactly why bands nowadays will play to tracks. Or more inclined to play to pre-recorded tracks because nobody wants mistakes anymore.
Right.
We get off the soundboard and we hear all the mistakes and the flubs and all that meat's hanging out. Everyone says, well, I don't like this, I don't like that. You can hear that and that sounds bad, that sounds like this. Well, no wonder KISS and bands like KISS, no wonder Paul has like tracks that he may be singing to. It's because, people are so fed up with... hearing critical. Mistakes. They're so critical.
So critical and so unforgiving. Like, I'm sorry, are they professional musicians? Absolutely. But also they're human and they're playing show after show after show after show.
Yeah.
Of course little things are going to mess up. To me, that's part of the magic of a live show is that they're all unique and different. Yeah. And each night is different and there's going to be different little change-ups and mess-ups, if you will. But that doesn't take away from it.
That was the magic of a live show and the magic of rock and roll.
Yeah.
But I think that's why genres like hip hop, pop, and rap have taken over. Yeah. Because it's way easier to control the music.
Definitely.
You're not relying on four people to we all have to be playing at the same time, the same note on the same page.
And
don't screw this up. Don't screw it up.
Their instruments don't break or something.
Exactly.
There's so many variables.
Get rid of all the humans.
Yeah.
Get a computer. Track it, push a button, and have it play perfectly every single time so that nobody in the audience, nobody on YouTube, nobody on their podcast gets butthurt.
Yeah.
And have it be the exact same picture perfect every single time.
Yeah.
But, that's why I think it's great to hear this stuff because you're just hearing it as it was. Mm-hmm. You could imagine being in the crowd watching Gene go from left stage to right stage back to the left in a matter of 10 seconds with Eric Carr playing the fastest fills you've ever seen. Paul's doing his high kick and his big splits and you can almost see the chaos happening in front of you when you listen to it, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Revenge lineup and the current lineup, I think, are the tightest, musically speaking.
100%. I agree.
Musically, they are the best because they play it at a pace that is easy to kind of digest. And it's easy to headbang to and follow along with. Maybe it plays more closely to the original versions. Whereas, you look at the KISS from KISS Alive 2, the original KISS Alive 2, you look at this KISS from the 80s, and it's just blistering fast.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have reunion era KISS, which was a little too slow. So, anybody can complain about the speeds of these shows, but just to get to hear some of this stuff was amazing. And
the speed suited the time. I feel like I understand complaints, but it's the 80s. I don't know. It makes sense to me, especially with the albums they were putting out at that time. Yeah, it makes sense. I understand.
Yeah, they were definitely trying to adapt to the unmasked KISS. I mean, KISS always had energy no matter what. Whether it was 75, 77, didn't matter. KISS always had energy. And that was still being maintained. But I wonder if maybe since they have less armor, if you will, less costume, that they can move around faster. Maybe they're thinking, oh, we have to go harder and go faster because we're not wearing the makeup.
Right. They feel like they have to compensate in other ways.
Yes, exactly.
That definitely makes sense.
Is a good, they're compensating for what people would have saw
for some of the visuals,
2, 3, 4 years earlier,
yeah.
which was a mass Kiss, big tank on the stage. I think that's why they kept the creature stage for Lick It Up. They kept the tank and everything for Lick It Up, and I think it's because they're wanting to show people, hey, we're still Kiss. And this is still the same,
is going to be a spectacle.
This is still the same Kiss stage.
Right.
You're seeing the exact same thing. We're just not wearing makeup.
Right.
We've left that behind for now.
Yeah.
But anyway, just to get back on track in terms of Off the Soundboard, talk about some of the more minute aspects of this show. When they played I Love It Loud, I don't know if I didn't know this when the single came out because it was just the song for the single, but this has a little bit of intro to I Love It Loud after the bass solo, and Gene does the oh yeah,
oh yeah,
oh yeah,
that's a good point.
Well, all right, and that is very similar to the intro to God of Thunder today.
Yes.
When Gene does God of Thunder, he asks the crowd, oh yeah, and then they say, oh yeah. He says it again just for confirmation, oh yeah, and he goes, okay, all right, dun 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 dun. And here we're seeing that same thing, but used in place of, or used for I Love It Loud.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool. That caught my attention because I'm so used to hearing that song live, God of Thunder.
Yeah, so you're almost expecting it to lead into God of Thunder, and you're like, oh wait.
And it's I Love It Loud. So I wonder if, because again, they weren't playing God of Thunder around this time, so I wonder, how that came about. Was Gene, I'm not sure when Gene started saying the oh yeah, all right, before God of Thunder. Maybe around the reunion or farewell tour, I would guess. But who knows if this had anything to do with it.
Right.
But it's just funny to me how he uses a very similar intro to I Love It Loud on this as he would God of Thunder today.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear that that kind of thing started before he ever started doing it for God of Thunder.
And we talked about...
It worked really well leading into I Love It Loud.
And we talked about how in I Love It Loud, nowadays he does the, can you sing it? Well, you know this one.
Yeah.
And it goes like this. And here... that's sort of being invented.
Right.
He's not saying, this one, and it goes like this.
There. Yeah.
Because we don't know that yet. He's still making it up. And in about 10 years, he'll be doing that. And of course, to this day, he does that. But,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so those are the cool things to notice.
It's cool to see the evolution of those little things that they do every show.
You're seeing KISStory literally play out.
I love it. It's neat.
And, but yeah, we also mentioned how Paul's vocals were a little strained in some areas. Because, yes, this was the 6th show that they played in a row. Which, not healthy, not good. They played this show on the 28th, they played the 27th, the 26th, 25th, 24th, 23rd, and they would play the next night after this, the 29th. That is an entire week straight.
That's not good.
Nobody today does that, or should do that.
No, they shouldn't. That's not how
This is kind of like...
That's how you ruin your voice.
I'm not going to say it's unheard of stuff, but this is the stuff that puts Kiss in their all-elite class.
Yeah.
Because imagine playing this set list, this music, 7 days in a row, back to back to back, with no breaks in between.
Right.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, we wonder why Paul's vocals sound the way they do nowadays, and it's because, respectfully speaking, they never gave themselves time to rest.
Yeah, well, and I also think it took a while for him to get to the point where he was using it correctly and having coaches and things like that help him use it in a healthier way, because for a while there, he's just belting, he's just screaming, and it's awesome, we love it, but that will really wear down your voice really quickly. So, I mean, it's a wonder that it lasted as long as it did, honestly. And that he could still sing even somewhat now.
The fact that he can even utter a word today is pretty impressive. Because you look at once you start looking and getting real deep into the trenches, into the weeds of Kiss's touring schedule, even to this day. To this day, I think Kiss, it's not quite as bad. But when you look at Kiss's touring schedule today, I mean, they're going to be playing July 1st, July 2nd, July 5th, 7th, 8th, 12th, 13th, 15th.
That's still a lot.
If there's 7 days in a week, Kiss will play 5.
Yeah.
They won't care. To this day, they just work that hard.
They are incredibly hard workers, and they always have been. Yeah.
You know, no offense, no wonder Peter and Ace kind of got fed up with it. You know, they weren't built for this. Nobody is built for this.
No, it's not normal.
Just Gene and Paul, and I guess Eric and Tom.
Yeah.
Thank goodness but it's just kind of it's fun to look at this stuff and just get real deep into it, because we've noticed all these different things. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about as far as the show goes? Anything that you noticed? Eric Carr's drum solo was fantastic. It's still my favorite drum solo in all of KISStory. Whenever I watched Animalized live uncensored and saw Eric play the drums, and I was like, that is one of the greatest solos I've ever heard. Yeah. And you even noticed
it was awesome.
In the car, I was playing along to it.
Yeah.
I was playing along to it on my steering wheel as it was happening.
Yeah.
Because it is very much the same solo he played every night on that tour. Which, again, it's like Eric Singer on this tour. He plays sort of the same thing every night, just a different variation, but with a lot of the same high points.
Right,
and so Eric Carr was doing the same thing, where he
comes
up with something before the tour and then plays the same thing kind of every night, almost like a song, where, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And
there is a structure to it, absolutely.
It has all the great Eric Carr stuff. It's my favorite. I love that. And then when he goes super fast on the tom drums, the really high sounding drums, gosh, it is just the stuff of legends. I could watch that all day.
Absolutely.
I love Eric Carr. It's my favorite drum solo. And the way his drums sounded were fantastic. I don't know what it was, but some of the kits he had on the Crazy Nights tour and Hot in the Shade tour sounded kind of weird. I don't know what it was about them, just the way the tom drums, the tone of the drums themselves sounded odd. Maybe they were going for that kind of sound, that kind of poppy 80s sound. But this was like the thunder metal, the thunder rock that you kind of expect to hear from Eric Carr. And it translated so well to the soundboard recording.
Sounded great.
I was so grateful for that.
The overall sound quality on this one
This is a really good sounding.
Was pretty good.
This is a really good sounding.
All things considered, and compared to some other ones we've gotten.
Yeah, like Des Moines and Virginia Beach.
Yeah, Virginia Beach especially. It sounded great. I really didn't have any complaints. Obviously, it's not going to be, like you said earlier, it's not going to be that fully produced where they go back and fix everything. But for being straight off the soundboard with little to no edits as far as we know. Yeah. I thought it sounded great, especially Eric. Do you think that we will get, because I don't know how, and none of us know how long they plan to continue doing the Off the Soundboard thing, but do you think we'll get any more Eric Carr?
If they're smart, they will. Yeah. Just because there's still plenty of tours that feature Eric Carr. Yeah. I mean, it'd be kind of weird if they just went to, Lick It Up or Asylum, which is right next door to Analyze. But, thinking about Hot in the Shade tour, one of the best sounding Kiss tours. Oh, and there it is, the shirt right there, Hot in the Shade. Yes. Love that. Yes, so thinking about the Hot in the Shade tour, or even the Unmasked tour, Eric's first tour with Eric Carr and Ace. Yeah. Dude.
That'd be awesome.
That is like one of the only ones I think that could get me just as excited as this now. Because this one and Tokyo are the ones that have got me the most excited, because these are the areas that we don't have anything from. Yes. Eric Singer and Ace, Eric Carr and Mark St. John.
Yeah, I want the combos of the band that didn't last super long or we don't get a lot of content from. So,
yes,
that's
absolutely.
neat.
And so, again, with the Unmasked tour, you had Eric Carr and Ace Frehley. Everybody knows, yes, there is a show from Kissology Volume 2 where Kiss played in Australia. But I don't care. If that wasn't Off the Soundboard, that would be my favorite Off the Soundboard. Because it's just one of those eras in KISStory that doesn't get the love it deserves, but that's because it was so short-lived that there's hardly anything to love. You know, unless you're a diehard Kiss fan, you know, you don't really appreciate all these little pockets of KISStory that kind of get lost to time. But that's why they have this soundboard series. Yeah, this is for the fans who, have huge Kiss collections and have every single Kiss album and every single live album, but don't have anything featuring Mark St. John. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that's the cool stuff about this, is that if I was a kid and you told me, hey, don't worry, man, you're going to grow up, Kiss is going to release an official release with Mark St. John, the whole concert, sit back and enjoy Mark St. John, Eric Carr, you're going to love it. I would have been like, probably not. I've been like, probably not. No, I know, no, not going to happen. But we have it, and it's fantastic. So my answer to that question is yes. Hopefully they do something more with Eric Carr.
I hope they keep doing this for a while, because there's so many options. They literally could just keep doing this for years if they wanted to.
Yeah, I think some of the high points, or I guess some of the ones that I would like to see happen, the ones that would get me the most excited, would be if they did some very early Kiss, like some club Kiss, 74, 73, like some early Kiss.
Yeah.
That would be great. If they did,
that'd be huge too. That would be hugely
that'd be a big
100%.
seller. That'd be a big seller. Of course, like I said, Eric Carr and Ace on the Unmasked tour. If they did Revenge Soundboard, that would be great. That would be the best one.
That'd be my favorite, 100%.
Musically, that'd probably be the best one.
Yeah.
Assuming they don't give us some, crappy sound recording that you just can't hear everything, but that would be fantastic. Let's see what else. Hot in the Shade would be a great one just because the set list, long shows, 2-hour shows, classic Kiss songs, 80s Kiss songs. That was a good set list. And then hopefully they'll do at some point a proper current lineup release.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was really excited for Virginia Beach because I was like, hey, here's a release with a modern Kiss from a really great tour with a really great set list, and this is going to be a really great soundboard, and the quality was not the best.
It's not.
It wasn't one of the shows where they included a lot of deep cuts, so it wasn't really all that exciting in the end.
A little bit of a letdown.
Hopefully later on down the road, maybe after the end of the road tour, after a few more of these releases, they'll go back and do a proper current lineup release.
I hope so too.
Maybe a Live 35.
Okay. Yeah.
I would love a Live 35. All the soundboard stuff from that sounds great. It is kind of like Rock the Nation, where it was released at the show, but unless you're somebody who actually has the release,
it's still not available to the public.
And I don't have any of the Live. I have a Live 35 on a couple flash drives, some random audio here and there, like from the Kiss MP3 players I have.
Yep.
But I don't have any of those CDs. I would take more Kiss, a Live 35. Absolutely, hands down.
Yeah.
It's stuff from Kiss Alive, so the set list, you can't go wrong with that. People would love hearing Kiss Alive.
Right.
The soundboard quality of those recordings were great. It was 08, 09, so it's going to be good. So I would like to see some of that. Yeah. Do you have any suggestions on where it should go?
Yeah, I'm seconding most of that. Definitely Revenge is one of the things I want to see the most. Just anything with Bruce Kulick, honestly, I'm down for always. You know me, I love Crazy Nights, so I'd be down for something in that era as well because I love Eric Carr and Bruce together. So that'd be super fun, but I mean, all of the above. I just keep them coming. I think this is something really cool, especially as we're coming to the end of the road as far as Kiss touring. This is a really nice transition, I feel like, out of their touring days because it's keeping the hype alive, and it's keeping the hype for live Kiss alive, even as they're ending.
And physical releases. Yeah,
physical releases and new things to look forward to. So I think it's great that they're doing this and the box sets every year or two. Like, I think it's really smart, and keeping fans excited and having new things to look forward to. I just think it's awesome. I
agree, and you mentioned Bruce Kulick. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, he's the only member not to be featured on Off the Soundboard.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure.
That's not right.
Wait, no, Vinnie Vincent. Okay, so Vinnie Vincent has not also been on the Off the Soundboard.
Okay.
But I know Gene and Paul obviously have. Yeah. Peter and Ace obviously have. Eric Carr now has. Mark St. John has. Eric and Tommy were on Virginia Beach. So Bruce and Vinny are the only ones who have not been featured.
I'm not surprised at Vinny, but Bruce, it's time. See, now I feel like the next one needs to include Bruce because, I mean, we're rounding out KISStory here. Like they're including all members.
Or Revenge.
Yeah, it's time. It's time.
I hope that now that they're doing since this is the first unmasked era Kiss, that they're a little more open to doing this because so far they've been kind of going around the 80s Kiss, literally 70s.
That's why I was surprised when this one was even announced, honestly.
Yeah.
It shocked me.
That shocked me. Yeah, we all heard it. Yeah. So hopefully they'll be more inclined to do 80s Kiss, unmasked Kiss, because as soon as we were talking about having Bruce Kulick and the fact that Bruce and Vinny are the only ones not to be featured, I was like, oh my gosh, could you imagine a Lick It Up soundboard? That would be fantastic.
That would be awesome.
Because they were playing songs like Exciter, not every show, but I'm pretty sure Exciter, Gimme More. those were songs that were featured in that set list, which would never be played ever again.
Right.
So that could be a soundboard too, where you're getting exclusive stuff, like never before heard stuff.
Yeah.
So Lick It Up is one that I want to see happen too,
awesome.
just because of that.
I'm just excited. I know, like, obviously, we've got this one, it's fresh, and so we're going to enjoy it while we can, but I'm still already looking forward to what they're going to do next.
Absolutely. So as we're wrapping up with our review here, let's go ahead and just talk about our favorite songs. I know you gave a few of yours, so I think Cold Gin is definitely one that we both agreed was sounded pretty good. I
it
loved
sounded great.
The solo.
Gene just sounded great
Oh,
on
he
this
did.
album in general.
He did. I totally agree. The solo at the end of Cold Gin, I thought sounded really good. It was just ripping. Fits Like a Glove. I'm surprised with the set list because other than, I mean, of course, songs like Rock City, Cold Gin, and then Black Diamond, Love Gun, Rock and Roll Night, those are the only classic Kiss songs in the set list.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You have Creatures, Fits Like a Glove, Heaven's on Fire, Under the Gun, War Machine, Young and Wasted, I Still Love You, and Lick It Up. All from the last couple albums.
Yeah, that's a good point.
From Creatures, Lick It Up, and now Animalize. So Kiss was really pushing
the new stuff.
The new stuff.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Me too.
Because
there's still enough to me of the... They hit the biggest of
the
their
big stuff.
of their 70s hits. So
yeah, they kept the hits, but I'm just still surprised at how much they included from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Fits Like a Glove, because there was that video on YouTube from the channel Sultans of Data or something, and they did like a video on the most played Kiss songs live.
Mm-hmm.
And as of 2003, Fits Like a Glove was one of the most played Kiss songs, even though it was only in the 80s set list.
Wow, that's shocking.
They played it enough times that it ended up being one of the top most played Kiss songs live, even as of 2003.
It's really surprising.
It's really crazy.
Wow.
Because it's one of those songs that you kind of just don't really think about.
No.
I mean, it's a good enough song, I guess.
It's good,
but it really isn't one of my favorite songs.
Anyway.
But I did like Cold Gin. Mm-hmm. I thought that Under the Gun was one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was up there for me too.
Under the Gun is just my favorite song from Animalize, period. Yeah. Just because of its double bass drumming, its speed guitar. This is one of the songs that I was looking forward to the most, just because when you're hearing Eric Carr on the drums and you're hearing that solo, it's all Eric and Mark.
Yeah.
Like, yes, Paul is still singing, Gene's still playing bass, but the majority of that song, at least what stands out, is Eric and Mark.
Right.
And it's like, oh, that's so great. And
that's
I wish, again, I mentioned earlier how I understand the older I get, I understand why Gene and Paul are so adamant about retaining melody and rhythm as opposed to just all out shredding.
Right. Even
though that was the scene at the time, it was all shredders. Kiss, they leaned into it a little bit, but they were wanting to preserve some of the classic sound, and they were still wanting to have some melody in the songs. I actually would wish they would have allowed Eric and Mark to do more and have more songs like Under the Gun. Yeah. Because you're letting your people shine. You know what I mean? It's like, take the handcuffs off. Yeah. And I mean, I understand it's your band and you have a vision for it, but listen to a song like, we're talking about Animalize, so listen to Under the Gun versus Lonely as the Hunter. I love Lonely as the Hunter. Great riff, but when I think about just the speed and energy and the impact that Under the Gun has, I'm like, that should have been a single. Yeah. There should be a whole album of songs like that where it's just Eric Carr, just double bass drumming, and Mark St. John. Now, of course, there is I've Had Enough, Into the Fire, which has some really good guitar work from Mark St. John. But yeah, the highlight for me was Under the Gun. Yeah. Was hearing Eric Carr just absolutely go ballistic on double bass and hearing Mark shred. So, other songs we liked, War Machine was a good one.
Yeah, I think that was a great choice for a single. When we were listening, I know we already touched on Cold Gin, but when we were listening to Cold Gin the first time, we were like, I should have put this out as a single. It was so good. Yes. But War Machine was also really, really good. Like I said, Gene, I think, really shines on this recording.
Yes, and I Love It Loud was good too. Yeah. Even though, again, it's very, very fast. It takes away from the original version, but I felt like this one added in a new groove.
Yeah, it's a different vibe, but it still works.
Because usually the song is a slow kind of a slow headbanger.
Yeah.
This one, you felt like you could like jog to it.
Yeah.
Or work out to it. Or,
they made it work though. I really.
It worked out really well with this one. Love Gun sounded great.
Yeah.
I thought. I did like Mark's interpretation of Love Gun a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Paul sounded great. Again, this was his 6th show in a row singing, but his vocals were still holding up. One thing we did not mention, and we'll do it now, about Lick It Up. We talked about earlier about how Kiss songs will evolve live.
Right.
I Love It Loud and, God of Thunder and those songs. So Lick It Up here, when they play Lick It Up, they're playing the original version, which starts out with the music.
Yes.
And then goes into the lyric.
Right.
Whereas, I'm not really sure when this happened, maybe the Revenge Tour, because I know it's on a Live 3, but at some point, when they played Lick It Up, they would just start off with the first line.
Yeah, vocals.
Don't want to wait to, a cappella.
Yeah, vocals before anything, yeah.
Yeah, and the vocals lead into the music. But here they actually play the original version.
Yeah.
With the opening riff.
That was a good catch.
Which is pretty much all but left off every other version after that.
Yeah.
They don't really play that anymore.
That's a good point.
It's just
Always
don't want to wait to know better, and then they go right into the verse.
A great way to start
and it's
it,
just
though.
boom. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
It is.
It really
I think
works
it works
live.
better.
Yeah.
To do it that way.
Live, at least.
But
yeah.
hearing Lick It Up closer to when it was released.
Yeah, in its original state.
Yes, you got to hear it as it evolves.
Yeah, that's neat.
So yeah, that was it for my review, pretty much. Any other thoughts on Off the Soundboard?
Not that I can think of. Let's get this back up.
Yeah,
here.
I mean, I guess I would just ask the Kiss Army, where does it rank for you?
Yeah, tell us your thoughts for sure.
Where does this rank for you? What did you think? What's the next one that you want to see? Do you want to see more Unmasked Kiss, 80s Kiss, or would you rather just do more original stuff? Let us know in the comments. And as we're wrapping up, I only have one more thing to talk about, or to show, I guess. I usually open something up at the end of the episode, but I actually don't have anything.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm shocked.
After this soundboard, that record coming in,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure I have 0 packages on the way for the first time in probably 2 or 3 years.
Are you guys as shocked as I am? It's probably because his birthday is coming up, and he knows that he's getting more Kiss stuff for his birthday.
Oh yeah, I totally remembered that. Yeah, no, you're right. Actually, I forgot, so I'm pretty excited. But anyway, so even though I didn't get a package received this week, I actually did get to go out and get the new Life magazine.
Oh, yeah.
That Kiss fans are starting to see pop up on Walmart stands. So if you haven't seen this, be sure to go to Walmart, your local Walmart, CVS, wherever you get magazines, and check out the new Kiss Life magazine. I haven't had a chance to really dig into it yet, so I can't I can't say whether or not it has all of its facts together and all of that.
But it's got great photos.
But anytime,
and that's always cool, honestly.
Anytime you see Kiss on a newsstand
in public,
it's
neat.
It's good enough for me. There's going to come a day where that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But not this day. So here it is, Kiss on the cover of Life magazine. You have the originals again on the front. Mm-hmm. What was the other magazine that was released here recently?
I don't know what it's called.
The Ultimate Guide to Kiss. Yeah, they also included a picture of Reunion Kiss on that too. So I don't know what the reasoning is.
Yeah.
Maybe because it is Originals Kiss, and Originals Kiss is Originals Kiss. But either way, great image, great to see that. Looks to be actually around the Psycho Circus era or Farewell era, as opposed to the Reunion era. Mm-hmm. But then you have on the back Kiss from the Monster Tour, which is fantastic. Actually, I'm not sure if it's the Monster Tour, but they are wearing the Monster outfits. Could be Freedom to Rock, could be the 4th anniversary tour, who knows. But just some great stuff. You got Gene on the phone here.
Oh, nice.
There was I don't know if I can find it right now, but there was a really funny picture of Kiss. Who was it? Gene and Paul. No, it was, oh, look at that. I probably can't see it very well, but that one's a good one. That one looks to be end of the road tour right there.
Nice.
2-page spread. That's really great. But there was a picture of, like, Paul brushing Eric Singer's hair. I think I might have showed you at some point. I think so too,
but I didn't see it yet.
But I don't know where it's at, so I'll try to find it here really quickly. Yeah, there it is right there.
Yes, that's so good.
Also a current era picture, so this is from the current end of the road tour.
That's so fun.
But you have a picture of Paul like teasing Eric's hair, which again, it's just fun stuff like that. I was like,
no, it needs to be bigger.
And look, you even got Unmasked Kiss in there.
Oh, I love that. That's great photo.
You got
Eric
like Crazy Nights era or Hot in the Shade era Kiss right there.
That's awesome.
So they've we got, there's Gene for one of his movies, and little Nick.
Aww.
The Demon Spawn. Great stuff. So, Gene passed out there. I could just keep going this whole magazine. So far, I'm loving the pictures.
Yeah, for the photos alone, even if the articles are not factual as they typically are not.
There were a few discrepancies in that Ultimate Guide to Kiss. There were a few obvious inaccuracies. But that's to be expected when these people aren't fans. And they're more looking
they're doing
for
minimal research.
They're doing spell check, if anything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's spell check as opposed to fact check. They go on Google, they pull something from Google, copy, paste, reword.
Yeah.
As long as it looks good visually, go to print.
Right.
But either way, like I said, just to see Kiss on a newsstand is great. If you don't see it, look at the bottom. I found mine on the bottom shelf at Walmart. But anyway, so I think that's going to be it for episode 49. Next time is episode 50, the 50th anniversary, or 50th episode spectacular. Yeah.
Yes. So we'll
I'm
have
not
to see
sure
what we have up our sleeves for that.
I was going to say, what are we going to do? I don't know. You have to stay tuned, subscribe.
Check back.
And we'll see you next time. Be sure to follow us on Instagram. Like this video and subscribe on YouTube. That's how we know that you like the content and you want more Kiss. If you want to hear us talk about anything in particular in the comments, leave us some topic ideas. We'll get to it.
We love that.
We love hearing from our fans. As a matter of fact, in the last episode, someone let us know that Jeb and I were talking about how Gene dated Cher, and we said that he dated Donna Summer. It was actually Diana Ross.
Yes.
Somehow, in the moment, we got Diana Ross mixed up with Donna Summer, which are bad, but thank you guys for correcting us. So
I think what we realized is that Donna Summer sings with Gene on a song on the solo album,
she was on his solo album.
Yes, so maybe that's where you were thinking of the connection between the two of them, because they did know each other and they collaborated, but Diana Ross was the one that he actually dated.
Yes. So anyway,
slight little correction.
We love hearing your guys' comments. So again, let us know what you think of. Let us know what you think about Off the Soundboard. Did you get the new Kiss magazine? What else are you collecting? We'd love to hear anything you guys have to say. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you on episode 50 next time on the Kiss Army Things podcast. See you next time. My name is Xander.
My name is Daphne.
Peace.